CEO of Atlant, Julian Svirsky.
This magical thing.
Hi guys. Working? Hi everyone. I'm the CEO of Atlant. Can we get this to work? So just quick thing, everyone here probably trades stocks. To buy, let's say, a share of Apple or Samsung or your favorite stock, Google, it takes one click and you can buy it. The question is, the biggest asset in the world, real estate, it's bigger than stocks, it's bigger than bonds, it's bigger actually than stocks, bonds, gold, and all cryptocurrencies combined. Real estate, very simple asset. Why can't you buy a share of real estate with just clicking a button? Well, hopefully with us you can. So just a quick overview, real estate is a $270 trillion asset base. And also turnover is quite high, $1.4 trillion per year gets traded. Trillion, not a billion, trillion. And we're here to basically make a marketplace of tokenized real estate. In essence, if you will, NASDAQ for real estate. So what does our platform consist of? We have tokenized ownership and P2P rentals. I'll go into it a little bit later. Tokenized ownership is basically taking an asset, let's say a shopping mall or perhaps a skyscraper, putting it into a special purpose vehicle, a company, and then tokenizing this company in such a way that on our platform it can trade in tokens and users can buy and sell tokens like on any other exchange, and there are bids and offers for basically pieces of property. So imagine 1 millimeter is equal to 1 token, and you can basically buy a millimeter, buy a meter, buy 100 meters, and now this is your property through tokens by pressing a button. So no need for lawyers, no need for sort of notaries and all these things, in exchange for tradable real estate. And when you're tired of it, let's say it's gone up, you press a button and you hit the bid and it's gone and you've sold it. So what you get with our platform, everything is of course blockchain based. So you have assurance, you have price discovery because it's a decentralized exchange, accessibility, you can trade from your phone, and of course you have liquidity in a market that usually, building trades once every 5 years. Here, a meter or, 100 meters or what have you can be bought with just a click. Just very quickly, typically everything works like the picture on the left. Everything is centralized through basically, counterparties. With us, everything is done in a distributed ledger. And again, you're trading pieces of a company, not pieces of a building. The building is 100% owned by the company. So the screen is quite dark here. But we have a fully functioning exchange. You can actually, if you go to Atlant.io, you can see this in slightly better colors. And we have some mock tokens, mock property tokens on there that you can buy and sell. And the exchange is fully, so basically, you can select, let's say, United Kingdom, then you select London, center of London, select a specific street and see which buildings you can trade in this area. Another feature we have is P2P rentals. So I'll go over very quickly, don't have much time, but basically right now you have large players, Booking.com, Airbnb, etc. The main problem with these guys is it's not truly P2P. So you have P, Airbnb, P, right? And Airbnb eats up something like 30% of basically the profit. So of $100 that you spend, 30 goes to them. We essentially cut out that middleman, and we through our blockchain platform connect basically P to P. And our fees are approximately 3 to 5% as opposed to 30%. So with the same level of service and with the same apartment. So hopefully we'll try to kill such rivals as Airbnb. Again, lower fees, immutability, assurance, and obviously scalability. We plan to roll this out worldwide. These are not my numbers. This is sort of a quick assessment. These are numbers from Goldman Sachs. Essentially, they recommend that Airbnb does what we're trying to do. And they say that essentially, the bottom line here, you see growth out to 2020. Regular growth, and on the top is growth with blockchain. So it literally doubles their growth. These numbers are a little bit too small to see, but again, RevPAR is something that, it's a metric that's used for hotel rooms, so quite applicable to Booking.com, etc. Again, without blockchain, Goldman sees growth of roughly 40% out to 2020. With blockchain, 60%. And so we plan to basically, lower the fees, increase the scalability, and increase throughput. Again, more numbers you see, just massive growth. I mean, what's interesting about Airbnb, actually, everyone thinks that they're sort of like this great, huge company. In reality, they only have less than 2% of hotel rooms in the US, and that's where they're biggest. So they're growing from a low base, and they're growing super quickly. The same thing with tokenization. I mean, basically, huge marketplace. If we're able to basically capture 0.0001% of the space, it already becomes a multi-billion-dollar venture. Just very quickly about the technology. So we're working basically with the Ethereum framework simply because, they have a long blockchain, it's immutable. We plug our data store into the Ethereum framework in such a way where we can store in our data store information which clogs up the Ethereum blockchain to just make transactions go faster. And we have, some of the interesting things we have. So for instance, whenever people talk about smart contracts or talk about Ethereum, blockchain, et cetera, it's very complicated, right? So we're trying to make it easier for regular people that don't know any of this. So if you want to, not necessarily spend cryptocurrency, you want to spend just dollars or euros or what have you, we have partners that allow you to do this, both for tokenization or P2P, on both ends, right? So if you say, I don't want to receive, Ether, I don't know what it is, you just receive euros. And then also, when you're signing contracts, we have something called Ricardian contracts. So again, smart contracts only are understood by developers. No one's going to understand smart contracts. But Ricardian contract looks like a regular, document written by a lawyer, and it compiles into a smart contract, and it's executable, immutable. And then basically both parties have to, once they agree, they can't cancel or change it. I'll flip through this. This is basically kind of how our system works. Just very quickly about who's working on this. So that's me. I've spent about 14 years working on Wall Street, worked for a couple of investment banks, worked for several hedge funds, sort of trading global assets. Neil was at one point my colleague. He also, did quite a bit of arbitrage in Asia, spent a lot of time on Wall Street. Dennis essentially, spent his whole time building various blockchain projects, built 2 separate crypto exchanges, which work now. They trade traditional cryptocurrencies. And he's developed a team of, well, not developed, but he's basically formed a team. They're quite young guys, but very good. So of Solidity programmers and front-end, back-end programmers. These guys have been together for 5 years, so it's not like they just got together and started working on this project. Actually, we have 2 more that are not on this presentation, but there are 5 that have been together for 5 years, and 2 more that we recently hired. So we have pretty good advisors as well. It's a real estate project after all. So one of the key advisors, Natalia, she basically runs a $2 billion fund, real estate fund right now, and she's worked for 12 years in JLL. And Greg Thane, he formed Knight Frank in Russia, and he sold his share, so he's out of it, but he has a ton of contacts in real estate. He has a $500 million project in India going on right now. He has several contracts in Turkey, so through him, we'll likely tokenize some of our first assets and put them on our platform. On the right are our lawyers. Oleg actually works at BLP. You might know him. They did the Shard, which is sort of the building that sticks out in the London skyline. They did also half of Canary Wharf. So some more advisors. I guess ran through that quick. So any questions, guys? Please.
Hi. I didn't understand because first of all, you mentioned trading the real estate, and then you were comparing data with real estate rentals, like the Airbnb, Booking, and etc. So
of course.
Can you explain this, please?
So we basically, on the same nodes of our platform, we have two basically components. One is tokenized properties. So what we do is someone wants to sell a shopping mall. We take the shopping mall, we put it into a company, we tokenize the company, and we crowd sale this company. If 100% of the company is crowd sold, then we give the seller his money, right? And he's happy he sold the asset. We give basically the guys who paid their tokens. And we also subsequently list these tokens on the Atlant exchange. And so now basically they hold token which basically owns a piece of a company which owns sort of this shopping center. And they receive rental income from it, and at any time they can buy more or they can sell it. So that's one part. The second part, which is the rental part, the platform token holders derive value from this tokenized asset and from the exchange that it's traded on. The second part is basically P2P rentals. It's separate, but it runs on the same platform. And the idea is to just say there is no need for middlemen. If everything is blockchain-based and decentralized, there is no need for middlemen and P2P transactions for rentals. So you can rent an apartment from someone else, and even if you don't know them, and you can trust them because there's escrowed accounts and escrowed money in case something goes wrong. And we have a system that basically provides you with the same service as, say, Airbnb or Booking does, except you don't have to pay $100. You have to pay, I don't know, $75 for the same room, and you get the same level of service. So that's kind of the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.